you have?
No, what Gopal told me was only that, see, he had been ailing a little bit, like he's not in the best of health as usual, like everyone else. And the respiratory infection became a little too much for him to bear at this age. And he had been hospitalized for a week till the COVID got to him. And then, of course, Auntie also had been going through little health issues, but the COVID infection got to her. I mean, I guess it's something we cannot question because these are all things which just happen out of the blue. But they have been, he had been ailing for a week in hospital, and the respiratory infection just became a little too much for him to take. That is what Gopal told me. And he's 99 plus, remember that. He would have been 100 in August. So I guess we just have to gracefully allow him to move on. That's about it.
Sorry, Bala sir, please carry on.
You're muted, Bala.
Sir, talking on mute, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Shankar, that was a very pertinent question. In fact, that also struck me as to how General, who was indoors all the time, could catch this COVID-19 virus. But there it is. A person who has vanquished many ultimately had to succumb to this COVID-19 virus. Very unfortunate, and it's a very sad day for us. But I do have a little sense of comfort in the sense that our club was so much in the mind of the General that wherever he is, he would be thinking of us. So even now, I feel the General's thoughts would be with Madras Coromandel, a club that has exemplified him, and I believe that derived more honor from him than it conferred on him. The General was a multifaceted person, and by a stroke of luck, I happened to edit his memoirs, which was later published as the Genial General. And I came to know so many things about him. And the General never used to mention any of those to any of us. All the time, his concern used to be about us. So his questions would be about us. His questions would be about the club. But never have I heard him saying anything about himself or about his career and so on. So this memoir, by a stroke of luck, as he said, gave me a glimpse of what the General was. And it is all in keeping with the image of General the club enjoyed right through and will continue to enjoy. Because his is a very rich legacy. And we will be proud of him, I'm sure, for quite a number of years to come. Like I said, his life was in phases. The 3 phases. First was in the army. He referred to that in that brief video which Dhanraj presented, where he received the Param Visishta Seva Medal. He only made a passing reference about that towards the end of his presentation. Now, this Param Visishta Seva Medal is the equivalent in army service to Paramveer Chakra. Paramveer Chakra is about your exploits, your sacrifices at the war front. Param Visishta Seva Medal, as the name suggests, is for your great service to the country, to the army. That's because he was the head of EME, and as he mentioned, it is today called the Electronic and Mechanical Engineering Corps. And there, at the time of the Bangladesh war, he had the task of managing the logistics, the arms, and the equipment of the entire army on 2 fronts, separated by the width of the country. So this caught the attention of no less a person than Field Marshal Manekshaw. And it was through Sam Manekshaw the general received the Param Vishisht Seva Medal. This was almost exactly 50 years ago on the Republic Day 1962. Okay. And then the general, after his army service, was in civilian service and essentially spent his time to trying to put back on its feet Bharat heavy plates and vessels. He succeeded to a large degree, but then he was a retired gentleman, and therefore in Bangalore, he was approached by his friend, and then he did a stint for him for his project to assemble BSA motorcycles. Look at his vision. Right at the very beginning, he told his friend, well, look here, this is not something that is suitable to India. And sure enough, a couple of years later, the project was closed and the general was on his own. Meanwhile, he had also become the member of Rotary Club of Bangalore. Earlier to that, perhaps that was his induction. He was the Rotarian of Rotary Club of Madras North. When he was to return to Chennai, it is just a stroke of luck again that we got him. Madras Coromandel, that's because what attracted him to our club was this Sunday morning breakfast. That suited him the best. And there he was. And he was a charter member. And as a charter member, he assumed the presidentship of the second year. That was, I think, the year 89-90, when he became the president of our club for the full term of 1 year. He was the first president to enjoy the full term of presidentship of Madras Coromandel. And I spoke about his vision. Look at this. He raised funds in the very first year of the club. Our club was a toddler at that time, and you could well imagine the kind of a reach we would have had at that time. And he established the first Interact Club. And surprise, he also established the first charitable trust of the club. And then the very next year, recognizing his service, the district made him a GGR. And then another great service rendered to the club was in the third year when he conducted the event, Pradhan Gaurav. Again, please share his vision. Pradhan Gaurav was an event honoring past presidents and past governors. He reached out of the club to honor good presidents and performing governors. And naturally, it became the talk of the town. But later, his thoughts always remained with the club. And I had a glimpse of it. That was, I think, in the year when Thangam was our president. Okay. And Sridhar was, I think, his secretary, or he was perhaps holding a very important position as the club service director. The general wanted us to update our constitution and bylaws. He was a very punctilious person. So the many MOPs that have bypassed us had to be referred, and then we had to renew our constitution, we had to amend our bylaws, and then only the general had some satisfaction. I think the credit goes to Sridhar, who interacted with him right through and then got the job done. And later, I remember his outstanding service in two different directions. One was about the archives. Okay, the many things the club did, the outstanding service over the years, would have been forgotten but for his effort to have our archives. It was Shankar, our Rotarian Shankar Narayan, who first obliged us by giving us a room in his house. And thereafter, I accommodated that, the archives, and then I felt, that this is an effort that I had to have visibility. In my house, it did not. So Ravi, as usual, obliged us. And today our archives are there in Ravi's office. Just imagine, a couple of years from now, Ravi would be the governor, and there he would be in his office with the archives of Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel right there. That is the vision of General Sundara Rao. Okay, so these are his efforts and services to the club, and his thoughts were always about the club members, and never had he spoken about himself or about his employees. This is our general. I would call him not just the genial general. I'll call him the guardian general, because he was the guardian of our army, of the nation, and of whatever civilian task he was assigned. He was the guardian. And then, above all, the internationality of the general was explicit through Rotary, and our club was lucky, as his microphone, to let others know about the internationality. If he is so popular in the district, our club was the instrument. But then that was general, and he glorified this instrument, Madras Coromandel, and I am sure that all of us, if we dedicate ourselves to the spirit of the general, to his discipline, to his observance of even the little things, that would be a tribute to him. And the general would always be with us in our club. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala. May I invite Mr. Rajagopal, Rotarian Rajagopal, to please share your thoughts? You're muted, Rajagopal sir. You need to unmute.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Now.
sir.
Okay. So, good morning to all of you.
Morning.
See, I think Bala spoke at length about general career, his Rotary and other things, so I don't have to repeat any of those things. As you all know, in the later part of 1988, about 15 of us joined together, started the Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel. In the later half of 1988, it was a provisional club till it was chartered. So the provisional club president was late T.R. Krishnaswamy, who was known to us from Minambakam Club. General did join us with a clear understanding and acceptance that the very first year he has to be the president of the club.
Oh.
Yeah. That was one of his insistence. Yes, he said you can be. So he became the, next to TRK, the first full-term president. He was the first full-term president of Rotary Club. For reasons known to him, he chose me as the secretary of the club, or secretary of it. As you all know, General is a stickler for rules. I am fairly opposite side of that. So there were always a little bit of confrontation here and there, jokes, a little heated up argument and all. And at some stage I felt, look, General, I am the secretary of the club. I am not the secretary of you. If you want more time of me, I'm sorry, I'm unable to proceed, but I will try to solve the issue. I will appoint an assistant secretary who will take care of the other needs of you, which I am unable to fulfill. as the secretary of the club. Now, we landed on Chatterjee, who was an excellent Rotarian and a good friend of mine. He left India a long time back. So Chatterjee became. Now, General, the things, as all of you said, he's a stickler for rules, fine. But he is also open wherever the rules has to be bent. He would be too ready to do that, keeping the overall objective in mind. Keeping the overall objective in mind. And what should I say? He had a tremendous sense of humor. I think the people who are very close to him on many occasions would realize how that humor arises. I'm not able to quote anything because which may not be befitting this event, but his sense of humor is something I think people who are close to him will appreciate. And I think General had a wonderful gift in his wife. Mrs. Rajam changed herself from Madurai when she married him. And then I think that was his biggest asset. She participated in all his activities. She participated in all his activities till the day before yesterday night, I think, she took her of him well. That was one of the greatest things that has happened to General. I think I have to sum up because a lot of people to speak. I'm just remembering the Kushwant Singh remarks somewhere I read long back. When you age, there are three things you ensure. You have sufficient bank balance. You have a few friends to sit around and watch the sundowner. And one more thing he said was your health. You should have a good health. If somebody is a living example till yesterday night, it was General. He had all the three qualities that as he advanced in the age one requires. I do miss him. For the last I saw him was almost about, I think, a year or I went to his house and had a chit chat. He said, Rajagopal has come, Rajam, get a glass of beer. That was the first thing. Because we know how we enjoyed ourselves, the various parts of our life. And then he said, I'm so many years. I told General, your mother lived, his mother also lived 99.5 years or somewhere close to 100. General's mother. She lived almost close to 100. I said, you'd outbeat your mother and you have to score a century. And that's a day. But unfortunately, this corona has come in and you really do not know whether a welcome person in another house, everybody would like to keep away and other things you avoided as much as possible. General was a great asset in his own way, lovable person. And again, I repeat, a great sense of humor. We will miss General, and that's the way the life goes, as Raji clearly put it. Yes, someday it has to come to an end, and he was an advanced stage. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you, Rajagopalji. May I invite Subbu, Chetty Subbu, to please share your, you've been very close to him. You're unmute, you have to unmute.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. It's actually a very, very sad day for Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel. Like Rajagopal said, in the second half of '88, we all met and I was the youngest member at that point of time. And Rajagopal was the secretary of General and I was the club service director.
I object to that. I was the secretary of the club.
Secretary of the club. Yes.
Yeah.
That is how the whole argument started.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know Rajagopal with his booming voice, he made there used to be a regular arguments and all. And then the Saurav Chatterjee came in as a go-between between Rajagopal and General Sundara Rao. And I've had very good experiences with General. In those days, it was an undivided district where, Salem, Tanjavur, Pondicherry and all were there. Once, I drove down in my car with General, past President Vishwanathan and I think Arun had come with me. So I had a big argument with Vishwanathan, and I started driving the car very fast. General really panicked, and he said, "Subbu, we are not going to any war. We're just going for a meeting. Relax." And he had come to my sister's wedding in Devakote. So he and Rajam wanted to go to Rameshwaram. My father organized it. Till about 2 years back, he came to my house to bless my father after his 80th birthday. And after 30 years, he was still talking about that. One of the finest gentlemen I've ever met. And in fact, when I went to invite for my son's wedding, he said, "I can't come. You bring the couple home. I'll bless them." But unfortunately, this Corona came, and we couldn't meet them. I only went and met them because the kids, I couldn't take the kids. But he has been I've had wonderful times with him, and very, very noble soul. Definitely this club will miss. Yeah, very towering personality. Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. Can we, Shankar Nanan, sir, can we have your views?
Not views. I have some very fond memories
Sure.
of General Sundara Rao. I will not talk about his his time in the Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel or something, but I'll say some of his utterances, okay, as we moved with him. And one of the things that maybe it will be irreverent if I say, but that is General, because I want people to know the nature of General and his character. He used to say that the wiliest thoughts came to him when he went to the temple. Okay, that is one of the things. Second thing was that he will say that it was easy for him to handle 64,000 troops under him, rather than running the Rotary Club of Madras Coromandel as a president. Okay, and I had the honor of being inducted into our club by in the period of General Sundara Rao. And maybe I was the first non-charter member to join the club, because TRK was the person who pinned me. And General Sundara Rao, I do not know whether many of you know or not, is related to me in a very, very, very distant fashion. Actually, his Rajam auntie's sister-in-law and I are distant cousins. So he had that fond affection that way, and then he used to talk to me only in Telugu whenever we met. And I used to bring him to our club many times. I used to give him a lift the time when I was driving. Now, of course, I stopped driving. And actually, once I reversed a car in a particular fashion. I do not know how it happened, but it caught his attention, and he appreciated the way I reversed the car. I don't know. I thought I passed the driving test only that day, though I've been driving for a few years actually. Such a compliment from him, such a appreciation from him or acknowledgement from him was a great thing actually. And of course, as Bala sir said that he was instrumental in starting of the archives. And because there was some space available in the house, we started here. And during DG's visit, it was inaugurated and then shifted to Bala's house and then to Ravi. So these are some of the, and he used to like his drinks actually. And it was a news to me yesterday, Suresh had posted some, experience with him about refilling his drink. It is typical of General to make that comment, and I really enjoyed that post from Suresh actually. Any case, we have been honored, meaning to say we are all honored or blessed to have been in the same time as General Sundara Rao lived in this world, as well as has been a member of our club. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Shankar. Ravi, will you like to share now? Is Ravi there? Ravi? I think he's not able to.
Yeah, I think he was driving.
Can I call Kalyan?
speaking with the army.
Sure.
Kalyan?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Raji. Good morning, all of you. And it is quite sad to know about General's passing. Vijay and I have a lot of fond memories of picking him up, dropping him and Rajam auntie on the way to meetings and fellowships. I joined Rotary in the year 93, March, when Rajagopal was president. Before that, we had this very stringent process of selecting and every Rotarian. There was an interview. There was this membership committee which followed all the protocols. And when I joined, Subbu only introduced me to Rotary. He said, "Hey, you better wear your suit and come. There is a meeting. You will have to meet General Sundara Rao. He's the membership committee chair." So I was quite tense, and I didn't know General then. So I went to his house. Luckily for me, there was another person who joined at that time. It was Uttam. So both of us went together. So I had some company. But when I went there, I was quite surprised. It was actually, I had already met him earlier regarding some audit of Enfield Group company. He was an advisor. I didn't really get his name then. I just met him briefly, but he was there. He remembered very well. I know you, Kalyan. I've met you. And it was quite comfortable for me. Then I knew I'd passed and I was into Rotary. So you always felt young when you were with the General. He made you feel important, and he was always fun and ready to do anything. You can discuss anything with him. You could discuss anything, really anything. And he loved cricket, and I enjoyed refilling his drinks. I think it was always scotch with a little water and soda. I don't know, Rajagopal, you may correct me if I'm wrong, or Subbu, but it was always one formula. We will surely miss General, and I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to meet Rajam auntie soon. But we'll miss you all, General. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So thank you. Before we go on, may I just request your general opinion as to should we continue today with the speaker meet, or should I request him to postpone, because I'll have to call him and inform accordingly. Rotarian Mohan, that is on Lake Restoration. Shall we postpone that meet? Just like
Usha, why dilute this wonderful remembrance?
Yeah. So I will request him to please come on another day. We'll reschedule that. Yeah.
And excuse me, I want to mention one more thing about General. Actually, is that he was very particular about his rank or designation in the army. People used to call him captain, major, and all those things, without knowing. And he did not like that at all. He said, "Look, if you do not know, just call me Sundara Rao. That's more than enough. Don't call me Lieutenant General or General. Otherwise, if you don't remember all that, just call me General if you want. But don't call me by any other rank or anything like that. It's not good." So he was very, very particular about that particular aspect of his
Actually, my father was a captain in the army, so I do understand that sentiment. It's a very, very important point to know. I have many people in my family who are in the army and Air Force. It's very important that you know your rank and you hold your rank in very high esteem. Yeah, can I now invite?
You don't know, call me Sundara Rao, enough.
Can I call Sridhar?
Usha ma'am, just to remind you, kindly call Mohan and inform
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll do that.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I find someone has had the honor of being the inducted by General Sundara Rao. Someone had the honor of being the secretary for the club during General Sundara Rao's term. I had the honor of being recommended to take over the presidentship of the Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel, which was the reason which I also said no, because General was not an easy person to deal with. Thanks, Bala, for remembering the MOP, which we did during Thangamuthu's term in 2009-10 when I was a secretary. And believe me, the General was such a meticulous person. He would be dotting every I and crossing every T. To complete the document was not an easy job. The General not only was my English professor, but he also would go through every version of it. And it was a gigantic task. Then at that time, I decided, definitely with General around, I'm not going to become the president of Rotary Club of Madras, Coromandel. Incidentally, that particular year, we gave memento to all the office bearers, Thangamuthu, which was very nice of President Thangamuthu to agree. And the award we gave the General was the Honeybee Award. General asked me, why this Honeybee Award? We said, at that age, you're so active, like a honeybee, and also you sting people. So he accepted it. That was very nice of General. You could afford to take anything to General, and he would accept it. I remember two things. General, at that age, I think about 10 years back, went on a trip to China, to Beijing. But somebody in his late 80s and early 90s to make a trip with his wife and say, I went on the Great Wall of China. That was a zest for living. Srini and I met him, I think, in 2019, end of December. I think it was 30th or 31st December. And General was so meticulous about, in the evening, he would have his cheese, he would have his nariyal pani, his zest for living. So like someone said, I really felt sad. If he could have lived for another 8 more months and we could have all seen him. Being a General, we would normally think he would have a big number of setup and he would go about it, giving the commands that it would get done. No, he was a very meticulous person too. I remember we had his 60 aunties and General's 60th wedding anniversary at Gymkhana. General himself went to the venue, made 2 or 3 trips to decide the venue because he had other 2-3 club choices. Then the menu, every item was personally selected, how the table should be set. That was the attention to the details of General. It was real fun, very colorful person, and I really wish that he had lived for another 8 more months. And it was really knowing him. I think we are very lucky, privileged to know him and auntie. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Thangamuthu, can you come on and share your memory?
Yeah, Rajiv.
Hi, good morning, Thangamuthu.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. So basically, I have known General for a long time. The first thing that immediately that comes to my mind is when I was president, as Sridhar was telling me, he almost disciplined me. Lot of things he said, of course, he would use words so that you would never get thrown off. You know, you will say that this is the thing you need to follow. So I also had the fortune of picking up sometimes when I was going to Rotary meetings. So he used to tell me a lot of things. There was not even a single moment of what I would say, dull moment, I would say, with his presence. Always enthusiastic. And as Rajagopal was telling, sense of humor is fantastic. I have not come across anybody who has got that kind of sense of humor. Great. And I remember when we went to Tanjore for an outbound trip, Sini had arranged everything. Thanks to Sini. Sini is so close to, in fact, I think he went to General's house yesterday, despite the fact that we were instructed not to come because of pandemic thing. Sini had, I think, called General's son and told him that you cannot deny entry to me. So I talked to him. He said, I said, I don't know what to do, but I am conveying my condolence to you. You please convey. He said, yes, definitely I will do it. So when we went to Tanjore, the entire trip was organized by Sini. You know, Rajam was brought up there when she was very young. When she was a child, she was brought up there, but later they moved on to many places and she forgot where she was brought up. And Sini somehow, you know, found out where she was there, and you would not believe the kind of, she was Rajam was running here and there like a child, and General was enjoying the whole thing, and we had a great time that time. I think Sridhar will remember. Fantastic time we had, and so that's it. And I also have some satisfaction of contributing some content. What I would say, of course, Bala had initiated this, and I had the fortune of talking to some of his friends and colleagues when we made the book Genial General. So I have, personally, I have some satisfaction of having contributed to producing that book in some way or the other. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanga.
Sir, if there is any left out copies of the book, I would be interested to read the book, sir. If someone can pass.
I am in the process of cleaning my office. I think I have some books. Let me find out and give you the address.
Yeah, some young members, Shruti
and also Eliya Maruthuva Kurippukal, I don't seem to be having a copy. We made a lot of copies and it was very useful. Again, Bala was instrumental in making that. Of course, I did some work, but Bala was very instrumental. So we need those books also. I mean, Eliya Maruthuva book also, if it can be brought, we can even reproduce it. So useful. Many people found it very useful.
Now, if I can come on the line.
Yes, sir.
I have all the 3 books, the 3 publications.
Excellent.
Eliya Maruthuva Kurippukal, then Alzheimer's, then the Genial General. So just 1 copy in my library.
Yeah.
We can replicate the copies.
Maybe we can circulate it also for those who wish to read.
In fact, on that subject, I think we should bring out the 2nd edition of the Genial General.
Yes, sir.
Which should be more comprehensive and which would be, I think, in memory of the General.
Sure, sir.
Sure, Bala, sir. It's a nice idea.
Thank you. I hope we all can get to read the book soon. Maybe we can circulate for those who want to read it earlier. Meru Subbu, are you there? Subbu?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
Really a sad day for all of us at RCMC. You know, I think to my mind, he was the fulcrum around which we all, moved around or revolved. To me, he represented the finest of Rotary spirits. Not just because he believed, like what a lot of people have mentioned about his being stickler for rules, comes from his army background. And I mean, his respect for the Rotary movement, just as much he had respect for the armed forces, he had a great respect for the Rotary movement. And the Bible of Rotary movement is the Manual of Procedure, MOP, which he was very particular, like Sridhar was mentioning, and I think Bala did mention about how diligently he wanted that to be updated and revised. And I have taken it upon myself ever thereafter to make sure that, during Bala's period, we updated it when I was the club services director. And ever since all the years, I've been closely following that Manual of Procedures and seeing that how we could, make it relevant. And so that's something that I will live with me. And the other thing that we all also remember is how he would shoot off an email in bold letters to many of the incoming team members and asking them to set the agenda for the year and what they would achieve at which point of time. So and it at some point of time, like it scared people like Sridhar. But it was, I mean, it was needed, to have orderliness in what we did in the club. And I think it was again an honor during Bala's period to make him honorary member or make him a permanent honorary member. So that's something that, we did, and it was a great moment. And all of us have personal anecdotes where we've all gone and met him and Rajamanti, and they were such a wonderful couple, and they will radiate such charm whenever they any event, whether it was an installation or a charter night or even a regular fellowship. The minute these two, the couple would come in, the place would be live. Despite their age, even on a wheelchair, he would radiate that kind of charm and wit, and everybody would circle around him, and we'll all have such wonderful, exchange of thoughts and views and jokes. So we'll sorely miss him. You'll sorely miss him. And RCMC is so much poorer without him. And I wish Rajamanti speedy recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. May I invite OS Arun? Arun, are you there? Arun? I think he's probably just moved aside a bit. Anand?
I'm here, Raji.
Arun, hi. Good. I can't. Wait, you open your video here. Let's see.
Are you? Oh my God. Okay, I'm not in this thing. First of all, I'm really saddened to know about General Uncle, and I know him as besides his designation, Rotary, everything, he was a wonderful human being. I could see that he was able to talk on any subject. With me, when he met me, he would talk on music. When he met someone else, he would talk on their chosen field. So, Annamadri, he was such a wonderful person. I still remember two instances made just at this time when we did the fundraising for our club. I think it was during Kalyan's period. And the program was in progress at the Music Academy Hall. While we were singing the song, suddenly I heard one voice saying, Arun, Arun, Arun. Then it was Uncle. And I said, yes, I couldn't hear. I was sitting, he was sitting in a distance. And then he said he wanted me to sing Shankara song from the film Shankara Varnam, which was not in our agenda. We didn't practice, we didn't have anything. But he said, please sing Shankara, Shankara. Then I asked, I checked with my musicians, fellow musicians, and fortunately, someone had the lyrics and gave it to me. And the orchestra, they knew the song because that's a popular song. So I sang this, and he was very happy to the extent he called me the next day just to congratulate me and then say, and he spoke to me in Tamil. Namaskaram, Arun. Tamil, like he spoke, and he said, Rumba Nandri, Rumba Sandosha, you didn't sing, you didn't know, I know it was not in your list, and you sang it. And the part of the highlight of the program, he was so overwhelmed. And another incident I want to say, when my father was sick, see, he was a person that the younger generation, the next generation and all should learn how to be courteous, how to be, how to value sentiments of people. When my father was sick, his wife, Rajamanti, told him in one of our meetings, and in Telugu, Nana Garu not well and all, and we must go. Next day, Rajamanti called, and then they said, which is a good time to come, and they came home, and they wished my father a speedy recovery, and they sat, and then, of course, for coffee, they went. And there was never an instant that he would forget to wish us on our birthday, not on the main forum, absolutely, but personal message, personal email he would send. I still have them with me, and I will cherish them for a long time. Because whether it is a wedding anniversary, whether it is a birthday, he will wish, and it will be a very real blessing from an elderly person. And that's why I'm saying it's so courteous. These are things that I tend to forget a lot of. In fact, I've forgotten birthdays of my own very close cousins, close friends, and all. So, but he was a person who would never expect anything from the other end, but he will continue to go on, give and give. So it was such a what should I say? It's a blessing that we were able to be with him, and we were able to be interact with him. And Rajamanti, I wish Rajamanti good health, and pray that she recovers from this soon. It just came as a shocking thing because I have not, this morning only I saw it's a tribute to this thing and I was shocked. I didn't know that he had gone. So thank you so much for letting me know and inviting me and making me speak and share my views. Thanks.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you. Anand? Anand, can you share your thoughts too? Is Anand there? Anand, if you're there, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, Lal. I was on mute. Sure, Raji.
Yeah.
Why not? I think almost about more than 15 years I've known him. It's sad General is not with us. He'll be missed. Basically, he was a very friendly person. So as soon as I joined, just like Srini and others, became close. Good time we had, during meetings. Couple of times I picked him up, dropped him. Conversations, during those journeys, during the meeting. And then fellowships. Of course, as Kalyan said, I was also one who would normally give at least a drink to him in each of the fellowships. Sometimes I used to meet him actually on my way to beach in the morning. I will pass through his street. Could be around 6 o'clock. He'll be sitting in the portico, sipping a cup of coffee and reading newspaper. Some talks during that time, and I think till 5-6 years, as Subbu was mentioning, bold lettered emails, will hit you, and till the last minute, I think he was very active. I think that's one thing which I take away from him is I think very very active, kept his mind active till the end, seeing mails and replying to mails at the age of 95, 96 is incredible. Always felt young in his presence. Yeah, he'll be sorely missed, and wish Rajamanti speedy recovery.
Yeah, thank you, Anand. Can I call Ganesh?
Yeah, thank you, President. So definitely it's a sad day for our club. We'll be missing General. எனக்கு வந்து நிறைய ஞாபகங்கள் இருக்கு ஜெனரலோட. So I got inducted in 2009-10 during Arun's period. So before I got inducted,
along with me.
Before I got inducted, Arun convinced me to join Rotary at the Trade Center during the district conference. So then after I said yes, he took me inside the hall. So that is when I met General. So General was sitting there. So I didn't know at that time, as Shankaranaran rightly said, I didn't know that he was a general. So I addressed him as Major. So he didn't respond immediately, but then he allowed me to introduce myself, and then he said, in Rotary, first you should say your name, and then you should say your classification. Only after that you should say the rest. Adukapro, when Meenu also joined me, so he said, now I'm not a major, I'm a general. And then he also went on to explain to me the difference between major and general. So that is how I got introduced to him. And then several fellowships. He was not to his age. He was always young at heart. And he was one of the inspiration for a lot of youngsters at that point of time in the club. I'll not call him as a strict or disciplinarian. He was always trying to be to the rule book. So he'll always say that, look, as a Rotarian and as an office bearer, there is a difference. So once you're an office bearer, you should know how to carry the torch of the club, because this club has such a legacy, and you should know how to carry the label. And during Tangamuthu's period, I remember we meeting in our outdoor event where he said there is a lot of difference between dancing and grooving to the tunes. And he and Rajamanti were just enjoying grooving to the tunes on the beach and over Hatla when we were having dinner. And that is when they spent a lot. They also inspired Aditi in a big way. When Aditi became very close, அதுக்கப்புறம் Rotary join பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் they visited a couple of times to our showroom. They spent a lot of time in understanding our business model and all those things. So our family, we always saw, he doesn't allow him to be called as uncle by me. Okay, I don't know why. So he always asked me to call him as General or Sundara Rao. And he says, Rajam auntie, you can call her auntie. So I always used to call him as General or Sundara Rao, most of the times General. And 2015-16, when I took over the presidentship, so he called me home. So I went to his home. He spent me like over 45 minutes he spent with me. And that was some real insight to me in Rotary. And he said that, look, I have always seen something different in you, Ganesh. And so I'm very sure that this club can have a different year during your presidentship. And it was a very good year. And that was the year when we had the Chennai floods. Then one fine morning when we were setting up the relief camps, he again called me. And he was the second person who contributed to the flood relief in our club at that time. And it was at 7 o'clock in the morning, I got the call, and they went to his home at 8 o'clock before going to the relief center. And he said, whatever help you want, you can call me, except that I can't be there physically. I can help you in all ways. During the district governor's visit, our club board decided to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award on General. So upper number district governor C.R. Raju said, because General he was on with the wheelchair support. So our district governor said that we can go to his residence to give the award. But General, whoever knows General, he said no, because this is an award that Rotary is conferring on me, and this is highest award that Rotary can offer after next to the above the service. So Adanala, I would like to come personally. So he made it a point to come personally to Raintree, and he prepared a beautiful speech, and he rendered the speech, and we conferred the Lifetime Achievement Award on him. And a lot of good moments with him during the fellowship, like yesterday's message. He doesn't allow you to ask him whether he wants one more drink. He always says, have a drink. And he also motivates you to drink. And or stage he always wants people to sing, and he also loves singing. Okay, he will take the mic and he also sings. And O.S. Arun pada solluvaru, Sri Kumara pada solluvaru, Kalyana pada solluvaru, then P.S. Suresh pada solluvaru. He enjoys. So that is what we all enjoyed with General. So definitely we'll be missing him, and we wish Rajamanti a speedy recovery. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Ganesh. Can I call Brajesh? Brajesh had a lot to share. Brajesh, are you there? Brajesh? Okay.
Ask Sri Kumar.
Yeah, Sri Kumar. Sri, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Usha. I got muted.
Okay. Let Brajesh finish.
Yeah, sure. Brajesh, come. Brajesh, it's yours.
Good morning, everybody. After a long time. General Saab was, I think, one of a kind. And I'm glad the way he went. Of course, it is sad that he went, but then everybody has to. And I think he just smartly watched and marched into the gates of heaven rather than suffer, which anybody at his age and with the disease that he had would have had to. My fond memories was that I had once the honor of having General Saab home. And and Rajamanti came and whispered in my ear, you fix his drink. Don't let anybody fix his drink. Because he probably liked the smalls and many of them rather than the large and a few of them. And then he tells me, you're a funny kind of a Punjabi. So I said, what do you mean, sir? He said, yaar, ek bhi tera teda joke nahi suna. You know, the boy jokes. I said, sir, I'm sitting in a in a, with all the ladies, and if I do that, I'll get beaten now. So, and he had this funny way of giving you a hug, like he'd put his hand around your waist and pull you towards him. And of course, there's so many memories and one can keep thinking, but it's better to keep it short because we have a lot of other people here to pay their tributes to him. And to me, it was personally a great honor to have spent time with a man of his nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Brajesh. Thank you. Moving on, shall we? Shri, are you there?
Yeah. Can you? Yeah, I'm there. So, see, General was a fabulous person and he lived his life. Very sad to miss him, but I think this is a moment to celebrate him and the life he lived, and may his legacy live on. My memory of General was that he was always a party man, so full of life, and as many already added, he enjoyed his drink. There was a child in him and a spark, his eyes were always naughty. And, he had a spontaneity which very few people could match with. I must add that he was very subtly arrogant and slightly knuckle. It was harmless, but then you will definitely feel the sting. The sting would be there. For example, as Ganeshan said, he would always ask me to sing, especially after people like O.S. Arun. And when I tell him, General, why General, after all that, he said, no, a bit of humor is always nice. So I'm saying you need to enjoy and move on. And the only person who could really rein him was Auntie. Okay. Otherwise, it's very difficult to control General. And he was always in praise of a few things that which are not related to Rotary was that he knew how to treat people very, very well. There were two North Indian boys, I think Bihari boys, who took care of him. And he always used to make them feel so good even when we visited them, because he said, these are the two people I really owe my life to, and these are the people who are really taking care of us. He was a fabulous host, and it is quite a few times Sangeeta and I have visited him. But one thing we always realized that he was very meticulous, so you have to call him, fix up, and then go. You just can't suddenly drop in and say that, I came this way and I wanted to meet up with you. But he and Auntie would be fabulous hosts. We've spent so much of time together. In fact, when Auntie's brother made, CDs on appreciating Carnatic music through films, he gave me a set and he said, you preserve them because you will definitely need them and you'll enjoy them. So there are a lot of these small things that, I really enjoy. Even in his book release, I told General at the club saying that, General, can you autograph? He said, no, if you want my autograph, you have to come to my house and take it. So we will miss him. And I think that we must post on our club's Facebook page, and members can put, or post their, comments on that. And he was a very generous man. We will miss him, but then we need to celebrate him rather than feel very sad at this moment because he lived his life.
Great. Thank you. I think I agree with Sri that we need to celebrate his life because he has done so much for us and so much for Rotary. And anybody, they say, after 80 years, it's just a celebration, So I think he has lived almost 100, and it's a blessing to have had him with us all this while. Can I invite Suresh, PS?
Thanks, President. Hi. Sorry, I'll just recovering from COVID, so not in the best shape. But yeah, I think all the speakers have really spoken exactly what's in all our hearts. We're all sad, but also a life to be celebrated. Somebody who lived a phenomenal life and almost hit a century. That was the sad part. But what a glorious life! Something which all of us can be really proud of, and an exemplary life. I think not many know about his post-army career. He had a lovely, great, glittering career in the army for 30 years. I think he left the army around 73. But after that, he had a very successful corporate career as well. He was MD in, I think, Bharat Heavy Vessels and Plates in Vizag. Then he worked for Enfield. He was advisor to Brook Bond. He was completely involved in, he was fascinated by machines and developed a lot of, he was involved in the product development of a lot of machines and slotted angle racks and stuff like that. So he was always he was somebody who made I don't think he wasted a moment in his life, so he had a corporate career. He was even advisor to companies. And I think he was still the early 2000s, he was quite active. And after that, he was active in Rotary. One of the wonderful qualities that he had was he reached out to new members. I joined Rotary for the first time in 2005. And I remember him reaching out to me, inquiring about what I do and really getting friendly. Of course, he was also a stickler for discipline. And as all of us, many members mentioned, he was very particular about how he referred to him. And of course, those of us who became presidents, we always knew, the general's large, bold lettered emails asking you, what you were doing. And you had promised that you would do this. So what's happened? And he was quite a busy bee. So once I did, but he was somebody whom, you could take his criticism also. He was, even though he was critical, you loved him. He was that kind of a person because you knew it came from somebody who really meant what he said and who had walked the talk before. So, when he said something, it carried a lot of weight. So you never really, it never really did not affect you. In fact, as Subbu said, it gave us all a bit of a, okay, general is watching over you, so you better do your stuff so that, he doesn't find any holes to pick. He was also a very friendly person. And like I mentioned in my post yesterday, he was always, he always had a keen ear. If you said something which was not the most refined way of putting it, he would correct you. Once I remember I was talking to him about aging and age and stuff like that. So he said, but you always are the same age inside, So that was his attitude to life, You can be 70, 80 or 90, but inside you're always the same age. So a wonderful person, an exemplary person, and somebody I think whose life we should celebrate. RCMC is so proud to have had him as our fulcrum. And I think we'll do a great honor if we just follow on his principles. And I think getting a revised, updated version of the GENIAL General, with adding all our thoughts and anecdotes, which we would like to share, would be a wonderful idea. So thank you for having me speak on this quite a solemn occasion, and General will live on in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you. Karthik, would you like to share how you interacted with him?
Yeah, sure. Ganeshan, I was interrupting you when you started off. If you remember, you and I got inducted in the same meeting. So, and as Suresh has just mentioned, any new member joins, the first person who will come and make you feel comfortable is General. And I think everybody's spoken about the traits, the qualities, and the way. I just want to share a few 2 or 3 stories which happened with me and General. Like I remember when I was going to take on the new gen director, and also at the time of secretary, there's a big list of mail. He made sure that I go to his house and make note of some of the issues that he wanted me to address, and and then made me so comfortable and kept following up with me in terms of the progress and so on. And I also remember one incident, as to how meticulous he is. One of his granddaughter got married, and during the wedding, at the time of the invitation, he met all of us in one of the meets, and he had invited. And I think a couple of months later or something like that, the first time, when I was just going to greet him, he said, "I'm so angry and upset with you." I asked him why. I invited you for my granddaughter's wedding, and you didn't show up for the wedding, and you never called on me to wish. That's and the reason I'm saying is that you must have invited so many people, and he would have busy with all the guests in the wedding. He remembered that I didn't show up, and also I'm not called on him to wish. So that sort of importance that he has given me. Meticulousness is one thing. The other thing is how he is in terms of organizing himself around, and the kind of importance that he gives to people. For him, for his age and the person that I was at that point in time, he doesn't have to even call me or invite. It is more of a perfunctory routine to just give an invite and just forget about it. But he was a person like who was so particular in making sure that everything is closed end to end, and and also there's an unfulfilled wish of his. I think I still regret of not fulfilling it. Being in the shoe industry at that point in time, he asked me for a shoe horn, which is quite long enough so that he could wear it, wear the shoes comfortably sitting. Because he with advancing age, he couldn't reach bending down and all that. So he said, I want that shoe horn, and I somehow got it. And then I never made sure that I reached it to him. So I'm sure General, wherever he is, he will still be remembering it and cursing me for it. So I think with that, I just thought I'll share my experience of these stories with him. And as Brajesh said, I think it's he 99 he lived his life till the last moment, and he went in a high fashion to his next stage of life. So I think we should celebrate his passing on. And as Suresh also mentioned, a lot of anecdotes which all of us will have, and I think we should cherish in our minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. Ravi, we missed you then. Are you there? Ravi? DG and Ravi?
Which name?
Ravi is not there?
I am there from then itself.
Then Ravi, do share your thoughts.
President, quite a critic. I'm listening to what other people are saying first. Try cheating. As far as General is concerned, I have known him for about 26 years. So, great guy. A lot of information is given us. According to me, he still lives with us. Because he's given so much information and so many things he's given. First thing which I liked about him is a very positive guy. Whatever you try to do or whatever happens, he only looks at positive things. He never comes and says, why do you do this? Or should not have done that. I've never seen him say anything negative. Personally, what I've seen is every single thing he does is very positive. He tries to do the best out of the situation, one, but he's very meticulous and make sure the job is done. And he does not give up. He's not the kind of guy who's like, okay, I'm fed up with you guys, get out or something. He always works to make sure the job is done. It does not matter who it is, what it is. And he also tries to get the best out of every single person. Like Ganesh and Subbaiah was saying, he sits and analyzes each one to one to see what best he can get out of that person. He's a great guy. To me, like Kalyan says, he lives with us through and through. I think he's going to be with us mentally. And we should celebrate his life. Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi. Very nicely said. Jiva, are you there? Jiva, would you like to share some of your thoughts?
Vanakkam, Vijay. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Jiva.
Vanakkam. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். ஆக்சுவலி அவர் ஜெனரல் சாரோட எனக்கு வந்து நிறைய ரோட்டில வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் கூட நிறைய எனக்கு அவ்வளவு அவங்க வீட்டளவுக்கு நிறைய பழக்கம் கிடையாது. ஆனா வந்து மீட்டிங்க்கு வரும்பொழுது இல்லைன்னா வந்து ஃபெலோஷிப் வரும்போது நிறைய நான் பார்த்திருக்கேன், அவங்களோட பேசியிருக்கிறேன். அவர் பேசும்போது பூராமே நலம்தானா பத்தி ரொம்ப கேட்பாரு. ஏன்னா இஸ் அ வெல்விஷர் ஆஃப் நலம்தானான்னு சொல்லணும். ஏன்னா நலம்தானாவுக்கு நிறைய செஞ்சிருக்காங்க அவங்க. எப்படி போகுது நலம்தானோட டிராமா, ஒவ்வொரு அவேர்னஸ் டிராமா பத்தியும் ஒவ்வொரு இஷ்யூ பத்தி எல்லாம் அவர் ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டா கேட்டுக்கிறாரு. அதே மாதிரி அவங்க ஃபேமிலியில வந்துட்டு ஒரு சஞ்சயா இருக்கட்டும், எல்லாருமே வந்துட்டு உத்தராவுக்கு ரொம்ப அவங்க ஃபேமிலி ஃப்ரெண்ட், அவங்க க்ளோஸா இருக்கிறதுனால நலம்தானா மேல அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு தனிப்பட்ட முறையில அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு அக்கறை உண்டு. அவங்க நிறைய செஞ்சிருக்காங்க நலம்தானாவுக்கு. இந்த நேரத்துல வந்து அவரை வந்து கண்டிப்பா நான் ரோட்டரியில இருந்து நினைச்சு பாக்குறேனோ இல்லையோ, நலம்தானால இருந்து நான் நினைச்சு பார்க்கணும். அதை நாங்க எல்லாரும் எனக்கு அவர்கிட்ட வந்து நான் பார்த்த விஷயங்கள் எல்லாரும் சொன்ன மாதிரிதான். அதாவது இந்த ஏஜ்லயும் இவ்வளவு தூரத்துக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஆக்டிவா இருக்க முடியுமா அப்படிங்கிறது தான் ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமான ஒரு விஷயம். எல்லாரும் சொல்லிட்டோம். அது உண்மையிலே எனக்குமே ரொம்ப, என்னோட பேரண்ட்ஸை நான் அப்பப்ப கம்பேர் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். அவங்க ஏஜ்ல இவங்க எப்படி இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு. எங்க அப்பா சில நேரங்களில் ட்ரிங்க் ஏதாவது சாப்பிட்றதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டா இருந்தானா நான் வந்து இல்லை நீங்க சாப்பிட வேண்டாம், உங்க ஹெல்த்துக்கு அது வந்து ஒத்துக்காது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவேன். ஆனா சில நேரங்களில் ஜென்ரல் நினைச்சிட்டு சில நேரங்களில் சாப்பிடுங்கன்றுவேன். எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா இருக்கும். ஏன்னா அவருடைய ஏஜ்ல அவர் எப்படி வந்து லைஃபை வந்து அவர் வந்து பாசிட்டிவா எப்படி வந்து ஒரு ஜாய்ஃபுல்லா கொண்டு போறாரு. நம்ம ஏன் ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரிக்டா நம்ம வந்து அப்பாட்ட வந்து நடந்துக்கிறோம். ஈவன் 80+ இருக்கும்போது அவங்க விரும்பினபடி சில நேரங்கள்ல அவங்க இருக்கணுங்கிறத ஏன் நம்ம ரொம்ப கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றோம். அதெல்லாம் செய்யக்கூடாது அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி தோணும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பாசிட்டிவான விஷயங்களும் ஒரு வாழ்க்கையை வந்து எப்படி ஒரு நம்பிக்கையோட நல்ல ஒரு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச அவர் எனக்கு ஒரு நாளும் அவருடைய ஏஜ்ல நம்மலாம் வந்து நான் பார்த்த வரைக்கும் எல்லாருமே வந்துட்டு ஒரு கிராமப்புறங்களா இருக்கட்டும் எல்லா இடத்துலயும் வீட்டுல முடங்கிதான் இருப்பாங்க. யாருமே வந்துட்டு வெளியில வர்ற மாதிரி பார்த்திருக்க முடியாது. ஆனா அவர் ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும் நம்ம ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவா எல்லா இடத்துலயும் நடந்து வர முடியாட்டி கூட ஒரு வீல் சேர் சப்போர்ட்ல அவர் வர்றதை நம்ம பார்த்திருக்கோம். ஸோ அந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து எல்லா விஷயத்திலையும் வெளியில வரணும், நிறைய பேரை பார்க்கணும், ஒரு ஆக்டிவா இருக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு விஷயத்த வந்து அவர்கிட்ட இருந்து நான் கத்திருக்கிறேன். அதனால எனக்கு வந்து அவர் 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 இல்லாம இருக்கிறது வந்து உண்மையிலேயே அவர் இந்த கோவிட் சுச்சுவேஷன்ல நமக்கு எல்லாத்துக்குமே வந்து போய் பார்க்க முடியாத சூழ்நிலைங்கிறதுனால எங்க வீட்டுல எங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் 2 பேருக்கும் கோவிட். அதனால இப்ப பாஸ்ட் ஒரு 15 நாளா நான் தான் அவங்கள பாத்துக்கிறேன். ஸோ அதனால எனக்கும் வெளியில போக முடியாத சூழ்நிலை. இப்ப அவங்க சொன்னது கேள்விப்பட்டதுக்கு அப்புறமும் எப்படி போறதுங்கிற ஒரு பெரிய கஷ்டமா இருந்தது. இன்னொன்னு நம்ம அவர் இருக்கிற மாதிரி தான் தெரியுது, அவரு இல்லைங்கிற மாதிரி தெரியல. ஏன்னா அந்த கோவிட் வந்து அப்படிதான் மாத்திருக்கு எல்லாத்தையும். கண்டிப்பா அவர் நம்மளோட இருப்பார். அவருடைய நினைவுகள் எப்பயும் நம்மளோட இருக்கும். தேங்க்யூ.
தேங்க்யூ ஜீவா.
Usha ma'am,
welcome
we have a Rotarian
Mohan Raman from Rotary Club of Madras. I have also he is here on a very wonderful gesture to come and share his views on the general. I invite Mohan to share your views.
Thank you so much. On this very somber occasion, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Madras, I offer your club our condolences in having lost your charter president. Now the connection is very deep because his son Sanjay is a Rotarian in our club. So through you, I offer our condolences to the family. Those who knew the general will know that he lived life king size, he lived life full, and I'm grateful to the Almighty that he took him away in a relatively peaceful manner, not having had the ignominy of several tubes stuck in one's body and huge struggle and all that. However, the loss of such a giant is always bound to leave scars, and I appreciate that the Rotary family has got together to offer some solace to the bereaved family. May I request President to kindly record our condolences too while you're conveying the same to the family. I pray to the Almighty, to my Lord Sai, to grant General Sundara Rao and his Atma Sadgati at his divine feet. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rotarian Mohan Ram. It was a very, very good gesture that you were able to come and offer your condolences. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. I invite now Dhanraj has prepared a small PPT on general. I invite him to share that with all of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Just give me a moment. Thank you, ma'am. Before going on to the presentation, I have prepared a small video as a tribute to him. So I just want to present the video first. So you will be witnessing some rare photographs which you people would have not seen before since his lifetime and his career in and so over to you with the video. Are you able to view my screen now? Can someone confirm? Video is in a different resolution, so I'm unable to play. So I'm just sharing the screen. Not sure if you are able to, you will be able to hear the audio. You can be sharing it in the WhatsApp.
Andraj, can you please mute Jiva's?
So this is the first group photo of him, where he commissioned on 15th August. 15th August of 1943.
Some yeah.
So this is when he was at the para wing. So this is one of the Rotary meeting that he has attended as family. And RCMC was celebrating his birthday. A wonderful moment. So some very few people, lucky people, have met him. So Om Shanti to him. We will always have this respect. So thank you. Without any further delay, I'll share a PPT with you.
Thank you, Dhanraj. Are we playing the PPT now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Kindly confirm when you're able to view my video. Are you able to view the PPT?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ganesh. So, so myself and Usha ma'am had this idea. We as I have a previous experience working with, I was part of NCC and all in my college days. I had an idea of, we myself and Usha ma'am ideated this wonderful project which would be going forward from this year, from all the years, rest of the years of RCMC, which would be a tribute to our honorary Rotarian Lt.General Sundara Rao sir, PVSM. So thanks, Bala sir. You were saying like reminded me that I missed the PVSM medal. So immediately I managed to get that medal. So we are planning a Lt.General Sundara Rao Memorial Award, where we'll be organizing a boot camp for our interact students going forward from this year. And the importance of the boot camp is it cultivates the confidence and self-worth. It improves the teens' physical fitness. It is an escape from the harmful environment that the teens were previously practicing in. And it is an avenue to learn the importance of the mutual respect. And it gives teen a new perspective in life. So this would be a good shaping, good time to shape the kids in the right path. And also we can bring them some more interest on towards the defense opportunities which are there in our country.
No, let me just explain that. The idea was that since General is from the army, we can do something on those lines and create a kind of an ongoing program wherein we will have youngsters or even elders, whoever would like to to participate in a 3-day camp where we will invite people experts in self-defense and in army training methodologies, whether it could be obstacle course or it could be any other kind of training, which we will source from the relevant persons to conduct these kind of training courses for 3 days for our Rotarians or Rotractors, Interactors, whoever. And it would be in memory of the general. It will be a general, we will name that camp after the general. We'd like to propose this idea, and we look forward to your views to take it forward. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
May
Let
I-
me, sir, sorry to interrupt. Let me finish this PPT. We have another 2 slides to go. So a proper explanation about the event. So this will be a 2 days boot camp for the selected 50 Interact school students. And this camp will be held at any of the Chennai-based college campuses, preferably Loyola College or RK Vivekananda College, since they have in-house obstacle running for built within the college campuses by the NCC. And we'll plan a complete agenda for the event along with the support of Associate Naval Officer Simon from Loyola College, where I've already spoke to him. He is very much interested to help us on the campaign, and he has been head of many boot camps before, organized by the NCC of Chennai headquarters. So, and Rotarian past president Vetri from Rotary Club of Anna Nagar Aditya is a black belt in karate, and he has accepted to give a self-defense training also for the kids on the 2 days camp. And basically, I have experience being in the NCC in the college level, and I have been to and I have participated in the state level NCC competition and all. So even I'm planning to, I'll be there helping out them in terms of NCC training. And we'll also invite speakers from Army, Navy, and Air Force to inspire and motivate students along with the open opportunities in the National Defense Academy. So,
President.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Parag.
President,
Yes, sir.
this is Mohan Raman from the Rotary Club of Madras.
Yes, tell me.
I have one thought.
Hmm.
The general loved Indian youth and loved the army. I love the idea that you have married both these to an event. What you could add as part 1 before you go to the boot camp is a 2-hour lecture. You could call it the General Sundara Rao lecture or whatever it is, where 2 or 3 army people talk to a whole bunch of protractors and interactors at every Raila. Raila is being organized by many people, and not everybody attends all Railas, or at least in the district Raila where everybody is there, where they talk about the army not just as a career option but as a life option, as to how it is not just a good career but it's a great life to serve the country. So that could be one slot which you can do year on year without much cost, because I'm sure we can always get 2 good speakers to come and attend the Raila, because the Raila is going to be organized by some other club or some district or something like that. This can be over and above your boot camp, where the message of General Sundara Rao goes to a much larger, wider audience rather than those just selected for the boot camp. This is just a thought. Please carry on.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a wonderful idea. We should include that as part of what we are doing now. Thank you,
Sure.
Mohan.
Thank you so much, Mohan.
Thank
Sir.
you so much.
So finally on the end of this boot camp, we'll be selecting 5 best cadets or 5 best students, and we will be awarding them in the name of a memorial award in the name of Lt.General Sundara Rao, sir. So that's the plan of this event. And this will be a kind of award that we are planning.
Ma'am, this is Bharat here.
Yeah, Bharat, tell me.
Go ahead,
Just want to quote something.
Yeah.
I like the concept, and this award can also be added to our Charter Day celebration in memory of our general. And we generally felicitate certain performers and certain achievers, wherein we can include an award in his name, in his remembrance is what one of the thought I have.
Yeah, absolutely. So if
We can start with this Charter Day celebration in this period itself.
We are hoping to be able to conduct this kind of, I mean, maybe as Mohan Raman said, we can start with a speech by Air Force or Army people who I can easily access. A lot of my family members are from the armed forces. And we can have that speech to youngsters as well as see how the boot camp can be organized in the next coming months. Then we'll take it forward from there. And of course, the award can be announced in our charter night. Let's do that. If I invite everybody to give their views on this, and if we are all on the same page, we can execute this in the best possible way we can.
We'll be presenting the presentation. We'll post it in the board group so we can take suggestions. So we are planning this boot camp in the month of May. So students, interact kids will be free completing their annual exams, and they will participate in the boot camp. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Is there anyone else who would like to say anything, share any ideas, views? Okay.
No, I think we are good to.
Yeah. So on that note, shall we, we'll connect up on WhatsApp, and you can share your thoughts about this thing. Otherwise, this proposal, or can we just end this meeting? We'll have a 1 minute silence in memory of Sundara Rao, General Sundara Rao. Let's have a 1 minute silence, and then we can disperse. Yeah, just a small prayer for his soul. Let's just do that.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. As they say, the soul doesn't leave immediately. So he's probably somewhere around watching us and being with us to encourage whatever we are doing. So let's pray to him and pray for his blessings. And let's hope that our Rotary work can carry on in his spirit and with the passion that he's shown. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, President. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Shah.
Adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you. Thank you so much.